when we do yoga asana, partly we're working in two areas, or we can take our attention to two areas. One, as you sit, is the torso and the head. So this is known as the axial skeleton. You can just call it the mainframe, including the spine. Then we have the limbs, the arms, the legs. What do we do with these bits? And this is in total the appendicular skeleton, including the appendages. So, little trivia for the anatomists in the group. But if I turn sideways, in terms of the spine, a lot of yoga teachers will, and new yoga students will think, well, I need to be completely straight as a board with that spine. If you were to look at a spine, however, it's got some curves to it. So the cervical curve in the neck, and then the mid-back tends to round a little bit. And then we travel down, and then right about after the rib attachments, the low back, at least when we're standing, has a little bit of an inverted curve too. The problem, as people get a bit further on biologically, is that these curves can accentuate as the muscles get weak or distorted. For example, a typical pattern for older folks is the kyphosis of the mid-back, where it tends to bow out like that. And even people that work on the computer, and then they get it's called the head forward syndrome. So we're working a little bit against that. And then the arch in the low back, some people, especially when they stand, have too much back tilt of the hips. So this is lordosis, right? Usually weak abdominals can create that. So that's a preface to some of the work that we do with the towel roll, is to try and work against that pattern gravity is pushing us toward. And now as you sit, we'll start class and see what we can do. So find your sit bones left and right, and become aware of the two sides of the body. And then start to pitch forward and back, finding the front and the back of the sitting bones. Just feeling the pelvis. As the base of operations for the spine. The spine is moving in flexion and extension. And then can we do what we did the other day and just C-shape over to one side and C-shape like a fish. Just contracting the side ribs on the side we're going toward. So seeing how the spine can move in these directions. Now I won't get into too much the facet joints in the spine and how they translate differently in each area today. We're just feeling, sensing sticky places. And then once you find one, you can breathe into it a little bit. So you can push into the down hand into the floor, bring the upper arm up. And then roll over to the other hip, push and reach. Sometimes a static hold with breath is good. And then if you're really stiff, moving a little bit more fluidly can be the cure. And I tend to offer both in combination to satisfy the vinyasa people and the structural people. So let's sit for just a bit and see if you can close your eyes, feel your spine, the low back, and get seat into the hips, mid back, and the upper spine. So when things are working well, you can almost imagine now your breath going down to the base of the spine, touching and expanding the rib cage on inhale, and exhale coming up the back of the spine. And take a few breaths to just feel and imagine the downward direction of the breath, filling the lungs along the way, the ribs opening, and exhale, releasing. We can add a little sound to the exhalation, opening the mouth and once again inhaling, fill, the breath is descending, and then exhale. Breath is ascending. One more inhale. And exhale. Normal breath. And once again, feel any tension along the spine. So the back, the muscles of the back, the spinal erectors and the paraspinals are conduits of information. And if anything's stuck along the way, it's more difficult for you to translate that information. So first order of business is we're going to take our towel roll and take it to the tops of the shoulders. And if it's too much, make sure the head can get to the ground. And take the arms out to the sides, hips down, knees bent. Just take a few breaths, either straightening the arms or even goal posting the arms. So now we're trying to work with that mid-back kyphosis issue that some people have. And then let's place the arms for bridge and inhale, lift the hips. And take a few breaths just to feel the texture of the towel roll, the opening. Again, the arms can be by the legs, they can be straight out, they can be goalposts. Exhale, come down, and go ahead and drop the knees over to the left. Inhale the center and drop right. So we're massaging out around the shoulder blade area, going back and forth in a gentle twist. All this we've done before. Let's crawl over the towel roll just a little bit so that the towel roll is to the shoulder blades tips. Same thing, arms can be by the hips, straight out, or if it's easy for you, the goalpost, up come the hips in a mild formation of bridge. Mild elevation, take a few breaths, gently toning the deep core, moving the tailbone away, and then drop down and ski the knees to the left, head rolls right, and the other way. So you're back at those shoulder blade tips, and now take a peek. If you are near the wall, which is the ideal, you can press your arms back into the wall. You just feel like you're doing almost a handstand push into the wall. And you can stay with the knees bent or slide them long and feel this area of the back, the shoulder blade tips, and the shoulder blades are trying to protract or move apart. The legs are toning now strongly, heels pushing down. Just getting a big reach through the arms. And feeling the roots of the arms here below the shoulder blades. Okay, so let's release that and draw the knees back in. Roll a little bit off to the side so you can grab the towel roll, or maybe come all the way up so you can grab it and just slide it down to the sacrum. So the sacrum is the last piece of the spine. And just shift the hips forward and back like you're rolling the pelvis forward and back toward you. You see there are options. If you were to roll the hips forward too much, you create that lordosis. So let's try to find a nice natural curve of the low back, resting on the pedestal of the sacrum, the towel. And then let's pull the left knee in. You could keep the right leg bent, or you could straighten it. And inhale, glide the left knee toward you, and then exhale away. Just start to push and pull. And don't get too distracted by the limbs. The arms and the leg are having some fun, but we want to feel where the low back, the sacrum, is rolling toward us and away. And letting that translate up the spine. So be a little loosey-goosey with your hold on the leg. And if you're looking at your screen, maybe you're not, but you can see I'm letting the whole translation even move my head. Inhale as I come back toward me, the head rolls back. Exhale as I push away, the chin rolls. Let's take the left hand to the bent knee and start to peel open that left knee toward the ground, and just look toward that knee so you can feel the muscles in the outer hip, piriformis, glute medial. You can give the leg a little bit of a pulsation or movement up and down. Just massage against the towel roll. Okay, and let's come back to center and kick the left leg straight up to the sky, binding the back of it. The hamstring with the hands. Look up at your left toes, flex them, and move them apart. So toning the entire leg. And then let's release that left leg and pull the right knee in. Again, you can keep the left foot on the ground or slide the left leg long, toning the leg, and then push and pull gently the right knee toward you and away. At first, it's easy to become distracted with the motion of the leg and the arms. But then if you close your eyes, you can feel the tilt of the pelvis toward you and away from you, and just feel if the entire spine can move a little bit. So when you're waking up in the morning, often the paraspinals are tight, and they can also become tight if you're stressed out. You want to try and take some time in lieu of a masseuse to roll them out. So let's find a good neutral position. Hold in that right knee, just glide it out to the right. You can look toward it a little bit. You can move it slightly toward and away from you. Just feel the outer bank of that right hip getting a bit of a massage. Come back to center and straighten that right leg, bind the back of the hamstring and push into your bind, spread the toes. And release that leg. Maybe both legs can straighten again. Maybe you can reach back to the wall and push. And then let's bend both knees and take them into the hands and curl up into a little bit of a ball, like a child's pose orientation. Knees wide, toes almost touching. And then drop the feet down, arms by the hips. We'll take a big inhale to roll the shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips up, bridge pose. Now start to slide the inner legs, the tailbone forward. And then on exhale, see if you can engage those outer hip banks that we just massaged. So right here, glute a little bit. And if they work for us, it'll take us a little deeper into this mild extension. Come down, however, and see if you can slide the right leg long and just hover the left shin now. Take the hands behind the head. And if it's too hard to do this with the towel roll, you can abandon it. Inhale, we're going to gently stretch the neck, pushing it into the hands, maybe looking back to the wall. Exhale, start to come up, propping the head up and look toward that left leg and straighten it. Come down, inhale, look back, knees bent. Exhale, kick up to the sky and do a little bit of a crunch without crunching or flexing the neck too much. So really what you're doing is trying to tone the core. A couple more times, open and close. And then we'll try the other side. So again, if you need to just keep the down leg bent, you can. In this case, the left leg. But if you can slide it long, that's good. And hover the right shin. Inhale, roll the head back into the hands. Exhale, lift and straighten. Inhale, bend the knee, roll the head back. Exhale, come up. Doesn't have to be much. Just work here. A little bit of strength work in the core. So now we're working on correcting any weakness in the core, lordosis. And then we sit the head down, arms out to the sides, and see if we can get the feet together, the knees wide for Supta Baddha Konasana. And then using your hands and your outer legs, bringing the knees back together. Lift the hips and grab the towel roll, take it out. And we'll start to do a little more core work. But first, reach that towel roll back to the wall. And if you're too close, just waggle your hips away from the wall. And so the towel roll held by the hands and arms can be straight back. And you can inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Let the towel roll come up into your field of vision. Straight up. Inhale, roll back, tilt the hips forward. Exhale, find your core. Hips tilt toward you, and up you come. So do a few of these. Feel the ribs opening and closing.
You can also do this with your legs straightened. And you can begin to alternate now if your legs are straightened. The one knee coming toward you and then moving away. So it may be possible for some of you to come up with the towel roll and lift the head. That's not possible or feels like a strain. You can slide the towel roll behind your head, like so. And do this whole exercise a little differently, but still good, using your towel roll behind your neck to support it. And here you can see that I'm goal posting my arms and then bringing the inner arms together. If you're still having fun, you could add that straightening of the leg that we did earlier. Go ahead. So everybody take the towel roll to the natural curve in the back of the neck. Take the arms up to the sides. Just drop the knees to the left and roll the head to the right against the towel roll and reverse. So now we're massaging the suboccipitals and feel the point at which the bony ridge at the back of the skull starts to transit. That's a transition point at the top of the spine. This almost always gets a little compressed. Again, gravity. And we're trying to work against that, just getting a little length, a little space in there. And then we can take the towel roll away and up overhead again. Let's hover both shins like a dead bug. Inhale. And exhale, take the towel to the right, the knees to the left. Inhale to center. And then go the other way. Knees to right, towel roll to left. Just start to move just a bit. And some of you can go all the way to the floor with the knees. Others can't. So work to your best ability. And you don't want to force a twist. The more important thing here is to build the core work in the obliques. Very good. So let's reach that towel roll back. Let's straighten the legs forward. Inhale. A big yawning arch, looking back. Lying the front ribs open. Exhale. Push the back of the legs into the ground. Towel roll comes up. Maybe head comes up. Reach back. Look back. Open the subscaps and the armpits. Feel the shoulder blades start to pull down the back. Exhale, reverse the curve. Come up. One more, we're going to try to come all the way up to a yoga sit-up. Reach back, stretch, inner legs extending, accentuating the low back curve, and then flattening the curve. Pardon the pun, and maybe coming all the way up. See it. Let's stand and work against the wall now. And if you don't have the wall, as I mentioned earlier, you could just use a chair. The chair back. But if you can, let's take the left hand to the wall, bring the feet together, and extend that arm. So we're trying to open this pec minor. Let's do a little bit of work though, and start to bend the elbow. Inhale and exhale, push. So think of side plank and feel the co-contraction happening. And then keep your extension, and you can tiptoe or just swirl the feet over to the right. Get a little more opening here in this corner. You can have the hand either level or slightly above the shoulder. Tiptoe your feet back to square off against the wall. And then let's step the left foot forward.
just a little bit and turn the fingers behind us. Come into our lunge and see how big of a lunge you want this morning, based on this left shoulder opening. We go a little deeper. Now can we take that right hand, reach over, stretch, 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 and maybe start to take both hands to the wall, like you're going to fall into the wall. Tone the legs. And then come back. One more thing, let's step away from the wall a little bit more. So now we're creating a side plank. You can take your right hand to your left shoulder and just ease it down so the neck muscles don't react too much. Tone the legs like bullfighter pants. Tone the arm, pushing from the shoulder to the hand. So for some of you beginners, this is your side plank pose. Advanced folks, if you want to go there, you can take the variation, or even if you're warmed up, taking the strap or the first two fingers into the final expression of that. Those are just ornamentations of the basic feeling of this strength in this lateral body. Okay, so let's try the other side. I'm just going to shut off my monitor to save speed. And we're going to take the right hand to the wall, spread the fingers. Again, right about shoulder level or slightly higher. And first, just tone the legs, tone the muscles of the arms. This could be enough, or you can tiptoe away from the wall a little with your feet still together. Using the breath to expand right up through the shoulder to the hand. Tiptoe back to where we started. Take the hand a little bit higher, fingers back behind you, and step the right foot forward. Left foot back and just sink into an easy warrior one orientation. Plug into the feet. Do your best to drop and square the hips. Then that left arm is going to come up and around to the wall. Maybe you get just the fingertips. Maybe you can take both hands. Okay, so coming up, feet together where we started, hand where we started, tiptoe a little bit away, just like you're leaning against the wall. And you just feel the strength underside of this arm, so the triceps, the lat, what does it take? And really it's the inner leg, the right leg, which is working here. This left leg is doing not much. So advanced students could come into a tree pose orientation. Not a big deal in terms of what we're gaining. Or even extending. The problem, of course, is if you're doing this, most people are so happy with themselves extending this leg, they lose this connection to the wall. So keep that in mind as you advance in your yoga, that really it's the grounded piece, the strength piece, which is the main concern. So now let's do wall crawl and reach up the wall, lifting our heels, and then dragging the hands down, sitting into the pose. Inhale, reach, lift the heels. Exhale, sit down toward chair pose. And just pumping the heels up and then sinking down into the heels. Let's stay in chair for just a bit. Check out the lordosis of the tilt back of the hips. So if you look down toward your knees, you pull up from the pelvic floor, you'll feel a different sensation of the core engagement. One more reach, inhale, and one more descent. So it's important to get this lower core established, look down, hope, and then keeping the lower body set, you can look up. Okay, let's stand here and let's take a forward fold against the wall. So walk away from the wall. And if you're working with a chair, you can just take the chair, put your hands on it, and drop. Otherwise, my favorite, as all of you know, is to drop the head, let the spine hang, and walk into the wall with the knees bent. And get some portion of the spine, preferably around the spot we have the towel. The back of the head can be pushing, then you're just going to lift and drop the heels like you're giving yourself a little back rub here. The virtue of which is the gravity allows us to get some space in the vertebra, letting the spine get a little longer. Flexible folks get deeper down the back, and the hamstrings begin to open up. Feeling the backs of the legs, the calves stretch as you lower the heels down. Spend a lot of time here, but we'll bend the knees, walk away from the wall, and slowly come up with a rounded spine. Now we're going to take the wall dog. So if you're working with a chair, you can work here, stepping away, bending the knees, and coming to flat back. Otherwise, placing the hands against the wall, slightly wider than shoulder width, sinking down into your bent knees, and then start to straighten the legs. Wall dog. So you can bend the knees and look toward the hands. Chest is open. Exhale, straighten the legs, toning the quads a bit. Just start to pump bent knees and straighten. So remember the sensation we had minutes ago when I had you push your hands into the wall while you were on your back. And that push, that connection of the roots of the arms was just along the shoulder blade tips. So see if you can feel that. Inhale, look forward, and crawl your hands back up the wall, just a little bit. So now we're going to work a little higher and take the feet together. Lift the right leg up, inhale, and exhale, looking toward the wall, pull the right knee up, knee to nose. We've done this in downward dog many times, but having the texture of the wall allows you to keep your shoulders safe. And I want you to notice today that as you extend the leg back, toeing back the leg, feel those roots in the back. And then as you come forward, feel like you're pushing downward with the straight arms as the knee comes up. You're engaging under the armpits. One more. And then we'll switch. So find your wall dog, feet together. And the left leg goes back. Then the left knee pulls in, look to the wall, push down with the hands. Like you're sliding down the wall as the knee comes up. And then you're pushing into the wall, standing back. Good. And then let's stop there for a second. Turn around and take the palms
As you walk pretty close to the wall, push your hands into the wall. Heels are about 6 inches from the wall. Just push with widespread arms. Tone the legs front and back. Feel this open chest. So these muscles that we're using in the back, you can feel here. So we'll take a forward fold and walk our hands out to downward dog. Take our heels up the wall. If you don't have the wall, you can take your towel roll and step on it with your heels instead. To bend the knees, lengthen the arms. Feel those muscles we just had with our hands against the wall. Inhale forward to plank, and exhale, come down. Hands and knees, child's pose. Inhale halfway up, walk the hands to the left on the diagonal, and drop it. Inhale up to the top, walk the hands to the right, drop it. Come back to center, walk the hands back toward your knees. Sit in Virasana, grab your towel. And draw it into the belly. Drop in, child's pose with towel. Beginners stay here. Advanced folks, hands and knees, towel roll still under. Pull the belly in, toes under, and downward dog with towel. Come forward, drop the towel roll, or if you were in child's pose, set it forward about a third of the way down the mat, and place your front hip bones on the towel roll. Come to easy cobra on your forearms. So the elbows are under the shoulders. Just going to roll out the hip flexors a little, rolling from left to right like a seal at the beach. Want a little more, you can extend one arm like that, look behind you, and then take the other fingertips out and roll. So once again, what you want to feel here is that the folks that have a little overarch in their low back suffer in back bends sometimes. So you can engage those glute medials, the outer banks of the hips we had. Can you feel that? They're right back here. And that allows you to energetically move the legs apart, and that floats the chest up from that structure. Let's release the head down, slide the hands back behind the shoulders with widespread arms. Roll the shoulders forward at first, and then come up toward cobra halfway. We did this the other day and roll down and do about 10 of these cobra rolls. Now, of course, you may be fretting, well, how much do I come up versus the next person or Dan? Who cares? Really want you to feel the glute medials engaged and the roll on the front hip flexors. We want to stay with our awareness in the roots. And then we'll work our way back to child's pose and take our elbows on top of the towel and our palms together, our head down on the towel roll, and just drag the hips back. You can chop the arms forward as well and drag the head even further back to the mat off the towel. And open the arms with straightened arms so they're about shoulder width. And then inhale, come up. Take the towel roll aside and take a downward dog, keeping all the extension of the arms, sensation of the hip flexors. Feet together, and see if you can take the right foot up the wall, push. And then put that foot down, left leg up and push. And then come down to hands and knees. So let's see if we can take even if you couldn't do that as a beginner, you could probably do this, get your positioning right. The right foot is into the wall. Not too high, certainly not higher than the hip. And just push into the hands, as we were doing with the wall. Find this strength. Advanced folks could lift the left knee right off the ground. Now start to turn the right toes out to the right, balance on your left palm, your left heel, and toning the back of the right leg and this glute medial leg. Take a half moon variation. And then let's come down and try the other side. Gliding the left leg back. So you're finding your points of contact to push into the hands, the heel, even if you just get this part. Getting strength with co-contraction. Then we're going to roll open that left hip, come up on the left fingers. Stay here if you're a beginner, but engage the outer bank of that left leg. And that's what's pulling you, or helping pull you up. Super good. So let's try a child's pose. And then if you can, coming up to downward dog with the heels away from the wall. You can walk your hands back to your feet this time for forward fold. In advanced folks, and actually put your sitting bones into the wall and take a deep, deep forward fold. Otherwise, the first variation we did, facing the wall, is the way to go. Okay, so let's walk away from the wall. Then the knees come up with a rounded spine and do a little more work in our standing poses. Let's face the wall again, back away, and take your wall dog. Bending your knees, inhale, exhale. Feet hip width or slightly closer. The hands can be slightly higher than the shoulders. Lift that right leg back as we did before, knee to nose as before. This time step the right foot. The toes are almost right up against the wall. Turn the left heel out a bit and sink down into your lunge, warrior one. Then we're going to crawl the hands up, taking the fingertips forward and sink as if you're going to be able to push your right knee right into the wall. Walk the hands down, shoulder width, start to push into the wall, straighten the front leg. Lift those right toes. Can you put the toes up the wall? Up the wall. And then just start to take your head toward the wall. Stretching the hamstring and the back of the calf. And then let's try the other side. So wall dog again. Bend the knees, straighten the arms. Left leg back, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Place the left toes right up against the wall. Turn the right heel out. And walk the fingertips up the wall. Those old enough to remember, yellow pages add that your fingers do the walking. But we're trying to lift the chest up as well. At the same time, we're dropping lower into the hips, only to the point we can maintain strength and integrity. Only you know what that is. Notice we're not doing warrior one like this. We're keeping the hands in the visual range. Walk the hands down, straighten the front leg, pushing into the wall. And by pushing into the wall, we tone the back leg. I can almost just lift this left leg up, but I'll put the toes against the wall instead and start to just go down. So we're minimizing this stretch on the one hand in how deep we're folding, but we're getting the stretch in the calf, which is often forsaken or forgotten in paraspinals, which would be this move here. Okay, I suppose you want to try that. So let's take the right foot forward, the left foot back, and now let's take this a little deeper. So I want you to still maintain a sensation of the toes lifting as if they're going up the wall. And now you can work this to your level. The hands coming down to support you, keeping a push into the back foot. Some of you can take the hands all the way down. Advanced students can even bind the back leg in the hand. Bend the front knee, walk the hands up, feet together, shift, right foot back. So again, if you're just working easy, this is really nice to just have total strength in the arms. Remember, the whole axial skeleton is strong, like a push-up, without ruining the shoulders. The weight is going in the back foot. Maybe go further down. But also the virtue of this push back in the back leg, we're not crushing the front hip as we go down. Got enough weight back here that we're getting some length out of that left hip. And the front knee, hands up the wall, step the feet together. It's good. So let's move on. And we'll take the left heel to the wall and work away from the wall, the right foot forward. And remember the other day, if you came, we had this strap on the back heel, and we're doing this sort of thing. So if you just take your hands back, like we did earlier with the hands to the wall, you can start to lean forward, and it's not so scary. First of all, because I have the push into the wall. Second of all, I have the back extensors engaged. Do about 200. Now let's pivot and take the entire knife edge, left foot into the wall. And from here, sink into warrior two. Take your right hand, just brush from the inner hip to the knee, and just slide that fascia a little bit deeper. And then maybe you can get your arms out. The left hand could be pushing against the wall. And this is like we did earlier, opening the pec minor. Kind of nice. And then we just take side angle, keeping the inner right adductor, groin muscle lengthening. And in a way, keeping this pec minor happy. Reach back up, straighten the front leg, hands to hips. For the teapot, you can bend the front knee. Right hand to shin, block the ground. Keep pushing into the wall. So if you're a beginner and you're only about here, that's fine. I've shown you how to work with the chair. Otherwise, you keep pushing and take the full pose. Come up. Bring the feet to parallel. And then just walk the feet together. Let's try the other side. So the knife edge of the right foot against the wall, left toes forward, and then low guard. Just take the back of the left hand, just brush
and lengthen this adductor. So it's not winging in. Arms out, you can maybe get your right arm pushed to the wall, and then you take side angle. Keep pushing into the wall with that right heel. You'll come up, straighten both legs, hands to hips, and just descend, drop the left hip, lift the right hip. Slide down, the left hand or all the way to ground, or use a chair, and then take the full nose. Right. Inhaling, come up, feet to parallel, and then feet toe heel together. Good. So far, so good. So let's do a little bit more with the wall. And we're going to now try to do the half moon pose that we did on hands and knees against the wall. So if you're a beginner, you can always go to your hands and knees and stay. If you're middle of the rotor, you could have a chair forward for your right hand. I'm going to take that left heel to the wall and the right foot forward, but shorten the stance. So we're not going to our full lunge, we're going to 3/4. Then we're going to lean forward and put the right hand against the chair and test our distance to the wall. Oh, too close. So a little bit more. And then we're going to get the heel into the wall. The chair is recommended, but it's possible to go all the way down, tone the back leg, tone the glute medial, and then with a fair amount of strength, pushing down through both heels, lifting up. Come out, look down, bend the front knee, and bring the feet together, forward fold. Come up with a rounded spine. Let's try the other side. So I'm going to take the left heel to the wall. If you need a chair, you've got it handy. Corner of the mat. Find your distance. About 3/4 of the full pose. And then you start to reach forward into your lunge with the left hand. You can go to the ground, you can go to the chair, pop up, and push that right foot into the wall. Look down to start, and then start to take the pose. Come out, look down, bend the left knee, both feet together, forward fold. And then coming up, the rounded spine, bent knees. Really good. So let's start to move toward some closing sequences. And we'll take our towel roll, we'll take ourselves to face the wall to do forward fold and place the feet into the wall. So feet are important. We've done some work with them. And so what if we take the towel roll between the wall and our feet, take our hands back, and just push into the arches of the feet for a little bit, like you're squishing grapes. And then you can bend your knees, grab the towel roll, and start to come forward, scooping the belly in. Go from left to right, and you're moonwalking your sit bones back to let the legs slowly come to straighten and slowly go down, elbows broad. Still feeling the sensation in the bottoms of the feet. Inhale, come up, and And bend the right knee up to Janu Shirshasana. Same thing, you can bend and lift the left knee, reach forward, grab the towel roll. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to go in, pulling the elbows apart and slide back into the pose, to the left sit bone. Inhale, come up and rotate away from the wall now. So you can take your left knuckles to the inner left leg and rotate. Switch. Push into the towel with the right foot. Bend the left knee. High up on the inseam, the right leg. Reach forward, grab the towel roll. You can have the right knee bent. Start to come forward. Inhale. Push, push, push. And come down as you slide the right sitting bone back. Pull against your mind, come up, and then rotate left, taking the knuckles of the right hand inside the front leg, and the left fingertips back. Really good. And see if we have time for one more. Come back to side one, take our towel roll. And this is where, if the towel roll isn't sufficient, some of you say, well, this is good, man, but I can't really even get the towel roll. You would augment or replace with a strap. So now you have options. You can either keep the Janu Shirshasana pattern, or you can roll to the left sit bone and move into a hurdle or stretch for Parigasana. In either case, try to create a right angle in the upper leg bones. And if you need to sit on your towel, now's the time to do it. So you can scooch it under your sit bones, create a little throne, and now we're going to take that same rotation away. You have the hurdle or stretch. I want you to notice the position of this foot. The foot isn't dorsiflexed or plantar flexed, with the toes out. The toes are tucked under. First stage is to pull on that strap, inhale, lengthen, and start to set the left elbow down inside the front knee. That's the first stage, trying to keep the hips down. Second stage is to reach up, see if you can get the fingertips to the wall. Push the left toe mound into the wall. Just push the sit bone back. It's really working against the wall. Those that need to take the full pose can take the foot. Okay? Don't overdo. Other side. Using whatever you need. And most people benefit from a little left. I'm just making a horseshoe under my right sit bone. Choose whether you want to have the foot inside the inseam of the right leg or hurdle stretch back. See the position of the foot. Set up your strap if you need one. And first stage is just to grab the strap, rotate away from the wall. But by pushing into the wall today, we're getting some information all the way back up into this hip. And we're getting some information all the way into this battling of the right lateral body. This could be it for you. It feels good. Otherwise, you drop the right elbow down inside the leg. Start to lean down. Push the toe mound of the right foot in. Just slide this right hip back. Like someone's dragging the hip back. Then maybe left fingers go to the wall. Maybe further. Come up, release, and we'll move toward the close. with a little bit of Viparine or Karani, towel roll to wall, if you have it, and sidle up against the wall. Roll the legs up the wall and position the towel roll under the small of your back. And so it's pleasantly arched. If it's too much to straighten the legs, even after all of our forward folds, take cross legs. Or even Supta Baddha Konasana, legs. So just take a few minutes to unwind, and you could even take your hands to your belly, soften the core, for a few breaths, and then the solar plexus. And feel those paraspinals that we talked about, releasing, relaxing. And here we've got the lymph fluid draining from the inner legs through the inner shoulders, the chest area has a lot of lymph. And heart softens, arms can go to goalposts, shoulders soften. So it should feel good. And this work you should do at least 5-10 minutes every day. You can stay there if you're having fun in any of those leg positions, or roll off to one side at your leisure and come up to seated. Trying to keep the information that the postures translate. So if we were just upside down, we had this wonderful lengthening of the lumbar and the hip flexors. And they have this wonderful opening of the palate of the chest. And the head was slightly lengthening in the back. So it sets you up for a good sit. Palms to heart. Namaste. So thanks for coming. A little mellow today.